Hello, welcome back. In this part of the video lecture, as a part of the course Programming for Problem Solving, I'm Sandhya and we will see a topic from Unit 3, Chapter 1, Strings, called as Performing Operations on Strings Without Using String Handling Functions. So in the last lecture, we have seen how to use string handling functions to solve some string operations. In the same way, how do we do that without using those string handling functions? Why is it necessary? Many a times during interviews, many a times during coding, and many a times during real time, it becomes essentially important because certain header files should not be used inside our programming. In that case, the only way to get a logic done is by writing code manually. So therefore, here we are. What if string.h is not available in a particular scenario? How do I get this done? That's what is seen in implementing string operations without using string handling functions. What do we see in this video? In this video, we'll see a few, how do you perform operations on strings without using string handling functions and implementation of few such logics. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we are trying to find out the length of a string. How do you find out the length of a string? What is length? Length is nothing but counting, right? You count all the inputs of the string, all the characters in the string. So how do you count? Any string is nothing but a character array. Any array starts with 0 as the index. So while of I is equal to 0, you start at I equal to 0 as long as it is not equal to null, because we know that any string is terminated with a null character. As long as it is not equal to null, you will just increment I. I is a counter variable. You keep on incrementing it. Once it reaches null, you will stop. So therefore, whatever is there in I is your input. That's using a while loop. If you want to write it directly using a for loop, set for I equal to 0, s of I not equal to null, I plus plus, L plus plus. So L is the length of the string. So example, enter my string Hyderabad, length of Hyderabad is 9. This is how I count it. Okay, let's go ahead and try to copy one string to another. How do we copy one string to another? Yes, copying is the process of, when we copy, you try to copy the first string, read the first string S1. After that, continue S1. Copy is the process of putting it in the same locations, right? So for I equal to 0, s of I not equal to null, I plus plus. Put the same S1 of I into the same location of S2 of I, as long as it is equal to not null. We know that string 1 is supplied with null because you read a constant from the screen. Hello, I read. Null is automatically applied by the computer. But string 2 is not terminated properly. It might return in garbage. So therefore, at the end of this operation, place null in the second string. When I do this operation, string 1 will be hello and string 2 will also be hello. Okay, what's the third one? What am I going to do? I'm going to compare two strings without using strcmp. Okay, without strcmp, how do I compare two strings? We know that the comparisons happen basically because of ASCII values. So how are we going to do? Two strings will be similar. GOOD, GOOD will be similar as long as they have same things and they should not be null. Both should not become null and they should have similar characters at similar places. So if of S1 of I is equal to S2 of I and S1 of I not null and S2 of I not null, you will simply repeat this process. Please remember here it is terminated with a semicolon. Implies that it's a self, it's a loop that repeats that with no statements inside, repeats itself until the condition is false. The condition can false in three places. Case 1, when S1 of I is not equal to S2 of I, that means it's not palindrome. Sorry, it's not same. Good God, O and D not same, so it will come out. Case 2, either one string, first string can become null or second string can become null. Example, good and God. Good and God. Second string becomes empty quicker. Oppositely, God and good, first string becomes empty. So either in case 1 or in case 2 or when they doesn't match. Example, bat and but. AU doesn't match. So example. Okay, that's the case. Only when both are null, you say the strings are similar. Otherwise, you say the strings are not similar. We'll run this logic once. But before that, we'll see another logic that's called as strcat. Concatenation is the process of adding one string at the end of another string. So therefore, move to the end of first string. How do you move to the end of first string? Find out the length. Length will get you to the end of the first string. So this will find out the length of string 1. In the place of null, replace it with space because I want good day to be attached as good space day. So replace it with space. And then from there, start putting your second string until the end of second string. Now the modified is not second string. The modified is first string. Grit modifies as grit college in this example. So therefore, at the end of first string, place null. Because we removed that null, right? So that's why place null. And this is how you get to see how does it work. Then the last one is how do you reverse a string? Yes. Reversing is a typical process again. Reversing is copying ulta. So go to the end of the first string and then from the end of the first string, keep the second string. Keep it in the second string. So how do you go to the end of the first string, find out the length of the first string and set your second string to 0, replace it. This is how you do it. Okay. So yes, before we do that, let's just take a minute and try to run this programs first. Okay, let's just take a minute and try to run this programs. Alt F, open. Yeah. Yes, length. This is how it is. This is the program. I used a while loop here. I commented on this. So this is how it is. I++. Okay, counting the number of characters. Alt R run. You just count the number of characters. That's it. Enter a string. Enter a string. I just said hi. Hi is a 3-letter word. So the answer would be 3. Because I set I equal to 0. I equal 0. H not equal to null. Okay, let's just check out. Yeah. H not equal to null, true. So I becomes 1. A not equal to null, true. I becomes 2. I not equal to null, true. I plus plus, I becomes 3. At 3 you have null. So null not equal to null, false. You come out. When you come out, the I value is 3. Okay. So yes, we'll try to run another program. Yeah, this is reverse. How do you reverse? Reverse is the process of copying, copying in a ulta way. So that's what, find out the end of the first string. This is how you go to the end of the first string. Find length of string 1. Find length of string 1. Then set j equal to 0 at I equal to I minus 1. You constantly copy it. Enter first string. I said hello. When I run it, after reverse would be OLLEH. Okay. So I'm reversing it and keeping it in another string called S2. Now, if you want to compare, you can check out. How do you compare? Okay. This is copy. Copy is straight up a process. You just, copy each character of S1 of I into S2 of I. So enter a string. I said good. When you copy, it becomes G over D again. But remember, because you're using percentile S, you should not be giving spaces. If you give spaces, it become a problem in the input. Okay. So ensure that you don't give spaces, or otherwise use getS. That would be a better option. Okay. Yeah, concatenation. Next one is concatenation. Concatenation is the process of adding one string at the end of another string. So yeah, this is how you add. Go to the end of the first string, replace that null with space, and then add your second string and terminate your first string properly with a null character. Okay, so my first string is good. My second string is morning. When I change it, first string should become good morning because I replaced that null with space, and the second string remains unchanged. So that is morning. Okay, like this, we can execute all the other programs also. So I recommend you to kindly take a pen and a paper and try to write this logics on your own. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.